So the All Blacks are victorious in Argentina, 41 points to 24. It was an eventful Rugby Championship match. It was an eventful Rugby Championship round, but at the end of it, New Zealand, they sit top of the table with 5 points in total, just one ahead of the Australians in the points differential. But honestly, this game, I do think that the scoreline may be a little bit more flattering than New Zealand, than the performance. There were certainly a few mistakes being made, but Argentina showing the passion throughout that 80 minutes, and unfortunately for them also making a few errors throughout the match too. But in this review, we'll be looking through at the players who did step up for the two sides, and also what is next for these two sides as they progress through the Rugby Championship. But for New Zealand, there were a couple real standout players overall. We saw 2 tries coming from Severis, who did make some pretty good decisions. Still, that's the thing. With a lot of the players, there were a couple shaky moments thrown in there as well. But overall, I think Reece did enough to keep his spot. For the next match, Will Jordan at 15. He didn't score himself a try, which I think was a bit of a surprise for a lot of people. That man normally scoring them for fun. But he did get a great try assist, setting up Cortez Ratama. And then also we saw Artie Savia score and 2 tries for Samisoni Taukei'aho. Those 2 late ones for New Zealand in quick succession, really what secured this game, as well as the bonus point. But Argentina managing to score themselves 3 tries throughout this match. The early one of Isgro, and then Thomas Albanoz. He was having a sensational game for the Argentines, and also Joaquin Oviedo, the other try scorer for Los Pumas. Overall, this game was eventful throughout the 80 minutes. There was a little period in the early stages of the second half where New Zealand just couldn't get their hands on the ball, and throughout that period, I feel like Argentina were maybe 1 or 2 tries short of where they would have liked to be. Just one more try could have completely changed the momentum of this game. New Zealand stopped going for 3-pointers pretty early in this matchup, instead wanting to go for the 7s. They knew they wanted the bonus point, and eventually they were able to get it. In the 4-pack, I thought that Artie Savia had a pretty busy game overall. The locks were good for New Zealand. The lineouts successful. Cody Taylor's throwing on point. Then for the Argentines, Pablo Matera, he was one of the busiest players out there. In fact, their whole loose forward trio for the Pumas was. Albanoz, like I said, did well, but maybe not enough from a few of the other Pumas backs. Someone like a Lucio Cinti or a Santiago Chocabarez, who's normally firmly in control, just didn't quite get to find his feet throughout this 80 minutes. But territory, possession, meters carried, all of those statistics, they were all in favour of the Argentines. So if there's one thing that they can take from this game, it's that they were more than competitive here up against New Zealand. Heading into match number 2, the last thing that Argentina can do is drop their heads, feel like they are out of it, because if they get it right, I think that they could really challenge this New Zealand side. And the scary thing for New Zealand and for Scott Robertson, this was considered in his eyes as the best New Zealand team at this point in time. But perhaps maybe the second match, got to chuck in some of those young form players. Leroy Carter, heard his name thrown around a little bit heading into match number 2. Amoni Narua perhaps could find his way in there. Simon Parker, Peter Larkai, one of those two. Just something a little bit different for the Kiwis. But then there is the chance that we see a very similar lineup to try and build that cohesion heading towards Eden Park. But nonetheless, this is just a very brief review of what happened in this contest. It's going to be one to dissect a little bit more. We did the commentary on the match. It was hectic at times, so I feel like I probably missed a few little things that certain players did. But of course, do let me know who you thought were the star performers throughout this game. And also with this performance, where you see both Argentina and New Zealand finishing for the Rugby Championship this year. But thank you all very much for tuning in. If you did enjoy, of course, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel, and I will see you all for the next one.